who would you consider a cleaner? I said, well, obviously MJ's a cleaner. I would consider Kobe's a cleaner. Wade's a cleaner. Obviously, after watching yesterday, for people that if there's any doubts, Steph Curry's a cleaner.
All right, Bang Bang. Welcome to the final episode, episode 8, week 8 of Rebuilded with Tim Grover and Eddie, presented by Gametime. Tim, how are you?
I'm excellent. How about yourself? The question is, how are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
That's great.
We're doing all right. So this is it. This is the final episode. You guys have heard 7 episodes before this. This episode, we decided to go no guest. So it's just going to be us two chopping it up. And
actually, we do have a guest. You are the guest.
I am the guest.
You're the host and the guest.
Host and the guest. First time ever. But yeah, just kind of putting a little bow on this whole series, season 1. And before we get into it, though, Tim, I do want to talk about the Gametime app one more time. Thank you to them for being with us throughout the season. The Gametime app is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. It's created by fans for fans, and the Gametime app is a new ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest prices. They crack the code on how to score last-minute deals on last-minute tickets. Obviously, the NBA playoffs are wrapped up, but if anyone's listening out in Colorado or Tampa, there's still an NHL Stanley Cup being played for, so go check that out. Make sure you're looking.
And also, this is summertime here. Talk about concerts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how long has it been since you've been actually able to go to a concert and enjoy it and be yourself and do those things? So take advantage of it.
For sure. What's you got your eye on anything? I know I got my eye on Elton John's at Soldier Field. That should be good.
I don't really have my eye on anything here because I never know where I'm going to be, but that's why that app is so great for me. Because when I do decide when I'm traveling or wherever it is, I can just log on and say, I don't have to plan way ahead.
Yep, perfect. So the purchase process, takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds, and once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. No printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text, so you can get into the game seamlessly. Skip the hassle and enjoy the moment. Download the Gametime app, go to the account tab, and create a login and redeem code REBUILD for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Download Gametime, last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Okay, Tim, so I also wanted to get in as well. I feel like I've teased the whole season about doing coolers, closers, and cleaners. I also want to get into that as well, just to make sure.
We'll definitely get into that.
That's important to get that into the whole 8-part series here. So that's kind of, that's your mantra, right? Is that what it all starts with for you, to how to,
it's just a way of kind of understanding different personalities, different work ethics, language, all kinds of stuff. Is just way back when, This started when Michael was part of the Dream Team. And, everybody was just like saying, this is like, the greatest talent of basketball players ever assembled. And I was fortunate enough and blessed to be at some of those practices. And you'd watch these practices and you'd watch these people play, and they would always, I said, they would say, oh, Michael's a closer. Michael's a closer. And I was just watching everybody, I said, man, there's something different about this guy. There's just something. And I said, calling him a closer it's not doing him justice. And I had no idea what the word was going to be until many years later, because everybody says, "Oh, this." You hear this all the time in baseball or basketball, wherever it is. This guy's a closer. He's the guy you want to have the ball at the last second. Yeah, be like, yeah, but there's a few guys that are just, you can't put them in that category. You have to put them in a separate category.
They're a cut above.
They're definitely a cut above. There's something about them. So I just like, I gotta come up with something. And one day I was when we were writing Relentless, Sherry and I were writing Relentless, we were like, she kept saying, there's something we got to do to bring this book together. There's something we got to do. And I think she was at her son's football game, and I called her. I said, there's coolers, there's closers and there are cleaners. And I said, a cooler is an individual that always tells you how to do things. They read every self-help book out there. They're the ones they celebrate the most, but have the cleanest jersey. And they love to wave the towel. I said, and then there's a closer. A closer is an individual that gets you the end result many times, as long as a whole bunch of variables aren't thrown at them. And they love to take the credit, but when things don't go right, they point to other individuals. And then I said, there's a cleaner. A cleaner is an individual that gets that end result over and over again, no matter what the circumstances are, or matter what's thrown at, what life throws at them, what an organization throws at them, what another team throws at them. They're going to get that end result, and they're going to get it over numerous times. And you look at the individuals that I consider cleaners, not just in sports, but just in life. They've gotten results over and over and over again against the biggest adversity that's ever been thrown at them. And she loved the idea. And that's how we came. That's how we can. And she goes, well, who would you consider a cleaner? I said, well, obviously MJ's a cleaner. I would consider Kobe's a cleaner. You know, Wade's a cleaner. Obviously, after watching yesterday, for people that, if there's any doubt, Steph Curry's a cleaner. You know, and you know, obviously, I don't know the other sports. Tom Brady's a cleaner. You know, you see individuals even from a coaching staff that bring these wins over and over and over again, and then people will argue that, well, somebody that are a big fan of, and they'll be like, well, that's a cleaner. I'll be like, no, they're actually not. Mm-hmm. They're actually not. They got a lot of individual rewards. A cleaner has individual rewards and team awards, multiple of them. They just don't have individual rewards. And they have the ability. The biggest thing about a cleaner is an individual that has the ability to step back and let somebody else dominate for a little while. Like Michael Alt would step back and let Scotty do his thing. He would let Dennis do his thing. So they have the ability to raise the individuals around them. They don't always need the spotlight.
Well, that's what I think a lot of people, if we bring it full circle to a guest in this show, a lot of people kind of win at Dwayne for, you know, when he allowed LeBron to come to Miami and whatnot. And you, to that, you know, judgment, you would say that's being a cleaner, is allowing him to do that, right?
Yes, it's just like, and when did that? So obviously, when that happened, there was a lot of, you know, it was like, whose team is it? Whose team is it? Whose team is it? Because Dwayne was already in Miami. LeBron is a new guy in there. And then when Dwayne actually went to LeBron and said, hey, listen, this is now your team. All right. Now that doesn't mean I'm just going to hand it to you 24/7, but I want you to be you. I don't want you to sit back. I want you to be you. Certain aspects of the game, I'll take over. Times in the game, you'll take over. And once that was established, that you really can't be cleaners at the same time during the same situations. All right, you're both alpha males. And the hardest thing for an alpha person, not male, female, whatever it may be, is to know when to step back and let somebody else be the alpha.
Mm-hmm. And is that, do you get a lot of people that come up to you, and obviously most have read the books, if they, like Russell read the book, or he knew, he was watching highlights. Like, is that the goal? Everyone's like, how can you make me into a cleaner?
Right. And, here's the thing. And people that consider themselves, one thing about a cleaner will never call themselves a cleaner. All right. Everybody else will. Everybody else will, but they'll never call themselves a cleaner, because they're always like, with a cleaner, they don't try to raise the bar. They throw the bar away. So it's constantly looking for more, looking for more. Tom Brady's a great example. All right. He was like, there's no way a cleaner is going to go out the way he did. You're getting that close to the next step. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he said he was going to retire, but that competitive edge is kind of like, hey, listen, I got to go give this at least one more shot.
Yeah.
We were just too close. And that could be a bad trait, because with an individual as CEO of a company, a individual that stays with an organization too long, or an athlete that can no longer produce the way they produce, but nobody else can tell them that. They have to come to realization, hey, I can't do this anymore, or I can't do it at the level that I want to do this at. And
a lot of people will never make that jump, right?
A lot of people never. Yeah, they'll never make that. They'll never make the jump. The mental commitment it takes to be that individual, and the sacrifices and the things that you have to give up, the hours of what other people want to do, that's hang out with their friends and party and socialize and so forth. Those things are just I won't say they're non-existent. It's just not a priority.
Yeah, and the book is really great at kind of going through chapter to chapter about what it really takes, and certain examples from some of your guys and guys who aren't cleaners that you've worked with, but that are just coolers or closers. And I kept going through, and I was like, and I kind of talked about this either last week or the week before, like, the goal here is not for me to get jacked and be yoked and whatever. The goal is just to be, to be better. And you go back and forth. Like, do you want to, like, do you have people like that too?
It's all everybody's like that. They're just like, do I want to continue to do this? But with the ultimate cleaners, they don't know any other way. So what they do is, if they stop competing in their particular sport, they're going to compete in something else. I mean, we just had this 2-3 weeks ago. They had this little golf tournament with the 4 NFL quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And then, Brady's giving Josh Allen, shit about his weight. And then, when he goes in there and he hugs Aaron Rodgers, and I can't remember exactly what he said, let's go fuck these guys up or something. It doesn't, the competitive nature, it just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It could be the simplest things. The desire to consistently win over and over again. You could sit there, and I'd love to sit in a room with, Tom's got 7, MJ's got 6, and them going back and forth about whose was harder and why has, and Tom will say, I have one more than you, and MJ will say, I never lost, and it would just be like there's stories on both sides.
Yeah.
Well,
what about doing that next thing? Like, how many of these guys? Is he a successful golfer? Like, is he pretty good? Have you ever played with Mike?
Who's that? He's. What do you consider success? Well, a successful golfer, well, you look at from a score standpoint, he's pretty good. But from a successful golfer, he owns his own 18-hole golf course. All right. How much more how much more of a successful golfer can you do that where you own your own? I'm talking about like a real golfer, not something that people put 9 holes in their yard or something. So you just have to, it's success means different to things to different individuals. So for Michael, it was like, I don't want to have to wait and play with anybody.
Yeah.
I'm build my own golf course.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's right.
The next level of.
Yeah, that's just like, that's right. It's next level. It's the business guys that, the three, one of the 3 of the wealthiest people in the world competing to who can go higher in space.
Yeah.
The competitive nature, it just doesn't stop. It's a constant flow over and over and over again. They always have to compete. They always have to compete at something.
And obviously, you do a lot of speaking engagements. Is there a way that you kind of relate this to the business people, like to the people in just regular jobs and whatnot? How do you kind of let them see this, or is it always kind of like, hey, here's how it works from the basketball perspective?
No, it's just the corporate people always want to understand the mentality of an athlete. So what I tell everybody is, just like athletes compete in their sport, you're competing every day at your job. Mm-hmm. You're competing every day to get better. You're competing every day against another company, another individual to set goals, or against another team. We have teachers that are cleaners. They're like, listen, I'm not leaving any student behind. We're going to make sure everyone's educated to the highest level to maximize their abilities. We talk about individuals that we have bus drivers that are cleaners. They make sure they know their route. They know their regular individuals. They acknowledge them. They're going to make sure the bus is on time. It's clean. All this other stuff. It's owning what is yours and doing it and maximizing the way you do it that nobody else would. You'd pay attention to things that just anybody else wouldn't. You go to different when you people that do nails, that do hair, that do car washes, anything that, you have people that go get coffee every single morning. They may have that one, and that person makes my coffee better than everybody else. And you let people go in front of you in line until it's your turn to go to that person. Mm-hmm. Those people are constantly competing, waiters and waitresses. It's in everything, lawyers, accountants. This is across any endeavor, any kind of job. It could be a personal assistant who handles the stuff so well that literally he or she is invaluable to that person. She controls all the controllable. He or she controls all the controllable stuff. So the other individual, the boss, whoever that is, whoever they work for, can manage all the uncontrollable stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's just every office in America you could walk around. There's people who are replaceable, and then there's people who are like, if that person leaves, we're fucked.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? And it's even to the point where you'll see somebody who may not have everything you want, but they bring 10% of something that's irreplaceable. So you as an organization say, can I tolerate the other 90% of what this person doesn't bring? Because the 10% they bring is so freaking valuable. So people will be like, well, that's not a cleaner. Yes, they are. Because the 10% they bring is so valuable that they cannot be replaced because of that. It's the same thing. And you can there's individuals who go to work and are like, listen, they would be considered coolers at their job. Yeah, whether they're working out of their home or they're going somewhere, they get there exactly on time. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. They're going to do no more, no less. And when they're done, they're done. So if they work a 9 to 5, when that clock hits 5 o'clock, they're out of there. And they consistently bring you consistent results. Nothing extraordinary. It's very consistent. All right?
Which is no slouch.
Average, which is no slouch.
Yeah.
But that same individual may be a cleaner at something else.
Mm-hmm.
They may be a cleaner at raising their family, being a cleaner as a significant other, being a cleaner doing a pet rescue, maybe a cleaner at, what do they call the individuals that grow gardens and flowers? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank over there. Botanist or whatever it is. There's different things that be like, just because they're not, everyone looks, that person is disinterested because they have so much more in them at work. Cleaners don't judge. That's the one thing, because they know they don't judge. So they look at that other individual and say, you know what? You go to their house and their house is immaculate. They're putting everything they have into their church or into their kids or whatever it may be. And I hate to keep bringing up Tom over and over again, but he, on one of his episodes that he did, he came out and said, I know I'm not as good as a parent as I should be. I'm not as good as a parent as my mom and dad were. And he went through the whole thing. And that's the whole thing. And also in the book we talk about the balance stuff, and everybody's trying to balance all these things all the time. And there's so many books out there and so many individuals that talk about balance, and I make it very simple for individual. There is no balance. They're just listening. If you want to be that dude or that person for a podcast, you spend in here, you put in the hours, you do it over again. We've done, I don't know how many thousands of interviews through the years for different podcasts, and you see some individuals how obsessed they're with the details, the mic, the sound, the lighting, the questions that they're going to ask, everything, the location, all this other stuff. And well, that's one of the reasons they are where they are. And then you have other ones that just they just throw it together. They don't do the work afterward. They don't do, if you want ratings, if you want to move up the chart, they want to move up the charts. They don't do all the auxiliary work that's necessary afterwards.
And we've talked about it before. It's not for everyone, right?
It's not for everyone. It isn't. It's not. It's not for, greatness is not for everyone. It isn't. Being the best is not for everyone. One of the things I say is the reason people, I love this one, and I hear this speaker say this all the time. Greatness is inside every individual in this room. It's like that commercial that used to be on, and I'm not going to say the name of it because they're not a sponsor of our show. But I don't know, what does it say? Is it you have potential, or you have something, and they just show the nose is just growing longer and longer because it's just like, all right. It's the same thing when people talk about greatness is inside all of us. But for the majority of the people, that's exactly where it's going to stay. That's just where it's going to stay. Look at your story yourself of how you got to be in that seat and the things that you had to go through. People are like, man, I'm not doing all that.
Yeah.
It's not it. So people will be they'll look at it and say, okay, well, yeah, you know what? He could take care of himself better. All right. Well, right. You're not we've already established you don't want to be being a cleaner and being jacked up and being this person that's constantly at the gym. That ain't you. All right. But your thing is, I want to be a cleaner at my show. I want to be a cleaner at, giving people this information, allowing them to hear the best topics or whatever it is out there, the debates and so forth. So it's different among individuals.
Yeah. And we've talked about it before too, like what you have to give up and how it's lonely, and it might be a controversial take you said before, but listen, you just say it if you want, but about being married. Remember we talked about that? We're like, maybe we'll get into that one time, where it's even if you want to get to a certain level professionally, like even relationships, like it might not be the best move. You really have to factor in like what you want in every aspect of life as opposed to just one lane.
Yeah, so I got this thing. Everybody says, find somebody that, that balances you out if you're in a relationship. They're like, find somebody that balances you out. And I say I disagree with that 100%. In business and in personal, this is my key to success in there. Find somebody who's just as fucked up as you are. All right. They understand your mentality.
Yeah.
All right. They will be selfish for you.
Which we've gotten to this series for sure.
So there's these different things, and like if you're that person that's super obsessive that wants to do that, if you ask your significant other or you're in a relationship and you say, hey, listen, I need a year. You better produce in that year. And you better not just produce for yourself. You better produce for the individuals that, I won't say put their life on hold, but decided to support you in your endeavors and understand the loneliness and do all these different things. So not only you're going to have to win, but you're going to make sure that they're going to win also.
Yeah. I wonder what like the medium in that is, right? Like if you everyone wants to be better, but maybe you don't want to be great. Like what do you say to those people where it's just like small improvements? Like is there some sound advice you have for that? Because it's okay not to want to be.
It's more
Jordan.
than okay. It's your decision. It shouldn't be somebody else's. It shouldn't be somebody else's decision.
Yeah.
It should be if you want to be ultra competitive and obsessed at something, and that's healthy obsession, then go for it. Nobody should judge you for that. Nobody should judge you for not going to that party, for not going to that event, or forgetting a critical date. All right, as long as it doesn't happen consistently over and over again, and nobody should judge or criticize anybody else that says, you know what, I'm great with making the money that I have. All right, spending time with my family, making sure every Saturday I get to go play softball or whatever it is, and I'm not on the office on weekends. I get to enjoy it. That's being a cleaner, knowing what you want, not what somebody else wants for you. Mm-hmm. Those are the abilities. Coolers. I talk about this. Coolers are individuals. They love to read stories. They love to read stories. They love to read and tell stories over and over and over again. They know every self-help individual that's out there. They know what's going. They know what this guru is telling you to do, what this person is doing. They have every self-help book on here. They know everything about everybody else, but they don't know anything about themselves. They don't know anything about themselves. They're still trying to figure that out. All right. A cleaner changes the story. He's constantly changing his story. No. He's not letting anybody else write his story. He's not letting anybody else write their story for them. And we have too many times in life, everybody else is writing your story for you. They're telling you what you should do, how you should act, where you should go. It's the pressure, and you go through this on a regular basis. You're trying to do something that is extremely important for you, for your health, your well-being, and not only that, you feel like it will enhance your career. All right. And you have individuals around you that are not supportive and are constantly trying to sabotage what you're trying to do. And some of them are your best, some of them are your close, some of them are your closest friends. Some of the things you've been associated, some of the people that you've known for so many years. You know, you grow up in a certain town, or you grow up in a certain area, and everybody in that town does the same thing. You know, they go to the same high school, they go to the same thing, and they go work at whatever that town is famous for. All right. We did an event like that in Wisconsin where everybody went to the University of Wisconsin and they all went to go work for these two companies. That was it. If you didn't make it as a professional athlete or whatever it is, you went to go work for these two companies. All right. And you have individuals that they break that cycle and they're like, I want to go do something different. And now you got the whole town revolting about, oh man, you too good? You too good to come work with us? You too good to hang out? You too good to hang out here? Well, and then after 3 or 4 years, you show up in a vehicle that's something that is a little bit more flashier, something that you worked on, something that you want. Oh man, look at you. Yeah, and those are the ways of those individuals throwing their guilt at you, because you know why? You had that thought process as a cleaner to say, I'm going to do something different. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing here. And you have those individuals, and the reason they're throwing guilt at you is because they had the same opportunity, but they decided not to take it because somebody else was writing their story for them. So they're either coolers or closers. Now, they may be cleaners in the work job area that they do, all right, but don't judge anybody else for wanting to be a cleaner in an endeavor that's outside the normal realm. I mean, that was my story. You know, I don't like to talk about myself, but medical school. That's your first option. That's your second option. That's your third option. That's your 100th option. That's it. Yeah. And to sit there and tell my parents, I'm not going to medical school. I'm going to do this. I literally, we created an industry that never even existed.
And once you kind of leave that bubble, it's hard to even leave a little pinky in, because it's just hard. You know, you can't really juggle everything.
You can't juggle everything. You know, and then what happens when people tell us we need more balance, we need to try to do all this stuff. We continue to add stuff. We continue to add stuff. We continue to add things. All right. And the way you get closer to balance is by deleting. And, you know, we hear all these people and we admire their stories and all this other stuff. But then when we try to do it for ourselves, people are like we're not. You can't do that. You can't do that. When you talked about relationships, all right. I think I remember 2 years ago or 3, whatever it was. All right. Every single Super Bowl, win or lose, Tom's wife would take herself and the kids and leave the house. Not just again for like a week or 2 weeks. We're gone.
Because she understood. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And then we admire this guy for doing what he's doing, for the unbelievable contract he signed, in his next endeavor, how many championships he has. All right. But then we won't make the same sacrifices for the other individual in our stuff that these superstars, that their families are doing. So you want you want the flame, but you don't want the fire.
Yeah.
Because with the fire comes all the criticism. With the fire, that's where all the criticism comes in. Because you can control the flame. You can control the flame, dial it up, dial it down, right? Can't always control the fire. Yeah. What do I say? Listen, everybody wants to set the world on fire. Everybody goes, man, I'm going to go set the world on fire. That's what closers do. Closers set the world on fire. All right. Cleaners know how to put those fires out. They set the world on fire, and they know how to put those fires out. There's a lot of money to be made in this world for individuals that know how to put fires out in any business. In any business.
Mm-hmm. And in Relentless, you talked a little bit about it and how you viewed LeBron as a closer. Do you think he's done enough to get in that next bucket?
Yes, I have. And it's funny when we did. So if you had the original version of Relentless, I did say he's not a cleaner. Mm-hmm. All right. After he won, I don't remember which championship it was, then you have a chance when the book goes to reprint, and we've been fortunate enough for that book to go to reprint many times, you're allowed to make a few changes. And in the reprint, we said LeBron has gone to that. He has gone to that cleaner level. Mm-hmm. And as great as LeBron is as a athlete and a basketball player, he's more of a cleaner in business.
Outside of it, yeah.
All right. He's actually more of a cleaner as a family person than he is as a basketball player. But you understand, in order for him to be that cleaner in basketball, all right, he had to take a step back from being a cleaner with the family. All right. And now that his business is grown even more, all right, sometimes you see he takes a step back in the basketball. So as much as you want to be a cleaner in everything, all right, you just can't. You can't be a cleaner at everything all the time at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he just became a billionaire, right? A couple weeks ago.
Yeah. You look at Tiger. Tiger had the most unbalanced life ever. What's he done for golf? That people that never had any interest in golf. I mean, just the name when he plays again, when he talking about he's going to play, the ratings go crazy. All right, they literally offered him that new golf, whatever it's called,
Live.
Live. Yeah. They were about to. I have no facts behind this. I'm just going by where they offered him $1 billion.
Crazy, but also not because he's such a draw.
You think if his parents and everything had balanced everything in his life earlier, all right, and all the sacrifices they made and then he had to make, and with him being raised and probably not being able to be socialized as much and doing all this is the one thing you're going to do over and over and over and over and over again. That's what it takes to change something. So you want to be that person, but you don't want to do everything that's necessary. Tiger's definition, Tom's definition, LeBron's definition, MJ's definition, Kobe's definition, and even some of the Jeff Bezos. And I'm sorry, I know I'm going to get criticized for not mentioning any any women in this, and there's tons of them. There's actually more women out there that are cleaners than there are males. But then you look at what those people have had to give up and what they've sacrificed to change things. And you want to be like them, but their definition of all in is completely different than your definition of all in.
Yeah.
When I'm with my clients, I'm all in. I'm literally all in. And it's been extremely rewarding in some things, and it's cost me in others. It has. But you know what it's going to cost you. You already know. You already know when you make one decision what it's going to cost you. If you make the other decision, what it's going to cost you. All right. You sit on that fence and you decide to jump on one side of the fence. You know what it's going to cost you if you're on that side of the fence. You know what the decisions are for staying on that fence, and you will know what the decision is to jump on the other side of the fence. You already know.
Yeah.
You already know. You already know what your friends are going to say about you, how you're going to be judged, what people are going to talk about you, what you have to do to stay on that side of it. You already know. And people are always waiting for somebody else to give you validation to be on one thing or to stay on the other thing. And most people that won't let you be on that side of the fence that you want to be on because they were too damn scared to take the same risk and chance that you wanted to. So instead of them seeing you succeed at it, they want to keep you back with them, because then this becomes a reflection on what the decision that they made.
Yeah, and it's if you go by relentless, even more it gets into it. So that was a great summation of coolers, closers, cleaners. You got the book in your hand. If you're watching on YouTube.
I got the book right here.
Mm-hmm. Go check it out. That was good. That was and like I said, it just goes deeper if you read the book about that. It really makes you think about like where you want to be and like how to get. It really made me think for sure.
Yeah.
So it was good.
And that's what it is. The only criticism we get from the book is people tell us it doesn't tell you what to do. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Your whole life, people have been telling you what to do. This book makes you think, and you decide on what you want to do.
Yeah, and that's what like we could shift over to kind of putting a bow on this whole series right now. Is people will say that to me, be like, oh, he's not telling us what to eat, or he's not telling us what to work out. But it's like if you're not taking the larger message from this, I don't know what to say. Like like here's the thing. In total on the show, we're 7 weeks. This will be the 8th week after this. I'm down about 22. And at one point it was 29. I had a couple weekends where I went away, the start of summer, but I'm not really worried about that, because you realize how much of this, it's a long game it's a mental game. Like
exactly. And you know what? Here's the thing. What I want people to do, you already know what to eat. All right. You already know what all this information is readily available. Google it. It's all there. All right. But until you get your head game right and understand, hey, listen, if I do these things, you just said it yourself. I went away I was on business vacation, whatever it was, for 2 weeks. You know exactly what you did, why your weight went up. That's it. No one has to tell you. You already know.
But I know what I got to do to get it down.
And you got to know what to get it down. It's a plan. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. And we've made it real simple. Like, listen, you want to find out, for our listeners out there, if you're not ready to purchase the book, all right, you want some more information, listen, I give away this thing for free. Just go to timgrover.com/free. And the questionnaire that I ask every individual that I work with to find out if they think they're a cooler, closer, or cleaner. You get that you get that questionnaire free. You get that evaluation for free. And then you get, in the book, we talk about 13 different, the relentless 13, the different traits that every person that you would consider a cleaner has. You get that free. And then even more, the other book, Winning, that we have 13 traits of winning. You get that free. Then you can decide if you want to make the purchase or not. Mm-hmm. timgrover.com/free.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, really, that was just kind of my last thing. It was just thinking there was a rush and thinking like, oh, this is how it's got to be. Like, that's what that does more harm than good. Like, I've come to realize, like, thinking like, oh, it's not a long game. And, you could, like, you got to get this much done in this much time before this event or that event. Like, that's what's kind of, it goes in reverse, to be honest. That's what I found. So to kind of just change like the mindset and like all that has helped for sure.
That you have to win that battle consistently. If you're stuck in your life, if you're stuck at your job, if you're stuck in your health, whatever it is, what's going on between your ears? What information are you consuming? Not from others. Maybe the information you're consuming from yourself. All right. And the last thing, I'll leave this with this. Okay. You have to be the maestro of the words and thoughts that are constantly going on in your head. If you want to lose weight, if you want to be healthier, if you want a better career, you want a better relationship with your kids, with your significant others, you have to be the maestro of what you're hearing up in here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. Anything else then, Tim?
No, I mean, listen, I had an unbelievable 8 weeks. We got a chance to talk to some amazing individuals. You and I got to build a great relationship here. The goal of this thing was to give people information that isn't readily available in a way that actually simplifies it and makes sense. Everything that we talked about, the guests that we've had are some of the best at what they do. Continue to strive for greatness, continue to strive for more. And they say the exact same things.
Yep. They all were very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar. But yeah, thanks everybody for following along. Obviously, it was always cool to read the emails, read the tweets, read the DMs and stuff about people, rooting for me or, how this changed and how you got going from this show. So that's great. Thanks a lot. I'm at Eddie Barstool on Twitter and Instagram. You're at Tim Grover. So go check us out too. We don't know what's next or, how this is going to progress, but we'll definitely let you know there and everything will be announced there. And thanks to Sherry. Thanks to producer Tom here. Thanks to everyone at Barstool. Thanks to Gametime, the sales team, everything like that. A lot went into getting this 8 weeks going. So we just appreciate you guys listening most of all, though.
Most important. Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. That's it for Rebuild. It's season 1. We'll catch you guys next time.